we've arrived at the birthplace of the planet's most legendary drink, the infamous sewer lemonade. The master begins by lifting a bucket of raw sewer essence, complete with the ancient sludge at the bottom, so old it probably holds the very ancestors of modern bacteria. Then comes the sole ingredient, that crystal-clear, nerve-wracking premium Ganges concentrate, rich with faith, history, microbial families, and a list of things you don't want to know. With both bases ready, the master finally begins crafting this epic-level poison. The ice ceremony starts. He snaps a chunk of ice by hand and baptizes it in Ganges water, letting the cube receive the full blessing of the river. Next, he scoops out a spoonful of mystery powder from a plastic container where a whole bacterial family is having a reunion, then adds a handful of suspicious, mysterious white powder. The mixture starts bubbling instantly, like the lost souls of a sewer fighting their way back up. To finish the blend, the master plucks a few blades of grass that survive the drainage cracks and throws them in, calling them natural herbs. He grabs a family heirloom stick and stirs, like he's summoning something that should never wake. Sweat drips from his fingers into the brew, adding a unique, irreversible human flavor. Then the first brave soul steps forward. The master serves him a cup and proudly demonstrates his cleaning method, a quick Ganges rinse. Done. This is the one drink that guarantees you'll find a bathroom within 3 seconds. And if you don't panic. Where you're standing will instantly become one. Welcome to the cleanest, most hygienic millilayer flatbread workshop. The ritual begins on the floor. The master presses the dough directly onto the ground, a surface long tasked with collecting foot sweat, dust, and fragments of destiny dropped by passing strangers. Now officially certified as a natural low-temperature fermentation platform. Next comes the decomposition stage. The dough is quickly torn into small pieces, each one coated with long-established foot fungus colonies, completing the basic biological inoculation. Each piece is soaked through with a white sticky substance that refuses to explain its origin, then seized in the master's palms and worked relentlessly. Palm lines, body heat, sweat, and the long-accumulated resentment of daily life are kneaded straight into the dough's molecular structure, ensuring a stable, reproducible level of full human participation. At that point, the entire mass is roughly spread out, then flung into oil salvaged from World War II. Thick, black, and permanently exhausted, boiling with decades of heat, metal, and failed history. The moment frying ends, the air fills with fat, history, and a smell not recommended for further investigation. This is the product they proudly present. The handmade, ultra-thin, multi-layered flatbread. Layers clearly defined. Origins completely unclear. Today we are visiting a fine dining restaurant on the streets of India, and the star of the menu is an egg toast that can rival Michelin. The fine dining chef begins by pouring old oil of unknown origin into an ancient iron pan. This pan is an artifact sealed by the smoke of thousands of cooking battles. He then chops chilies on a wooden board whose history is older than he is. The last time this board saw soap was probably in the last century. Next, he cracks the eggs he picked up from the roadside into a steel bowl, whisks them, and pours the mixture into the pan. The egg spreads out and merges with the black grime on the bottom, and that grime is the soul of the dish. Then comes the main star, the house-made butter roll bread. He slices it open, dips it into raw egg, and leaves his fingerprints on every single piece. See the rat in the back? Yes, he's the real chef, just temporarily off duty. Not enough fingerprints? No problem. He adds more when flipping the toast. Now, it's time for fine dining plating. The chef pulls out a medical record sheet he picked from a hospital trash bin. After all, nothing pairs better with eggs than fresh hospital bacteria. He presses the toast by hand to seal the flavor, cuts it into neat squares, and sprinkles mysterious spices that might come from the Himalayas or from the side of the road. This is a 30-cent egg toast. Try it once and you'll understand. It might be the last meal of your life. Welcome to Sweet Armpit Bakery. Each cake here can make your digestive system plead guilty in 10 minutes flat. The story begins with a legendary bucket, a bucket that has never been washed. Mother hens passing by could still smell the memories of their last eggs. When the eggs hit the bucket, the sound feels like a family reunion ceremony. Then comes the mixer. It's so old it could file a report on colonial history. Every spin releases a faint bug-killer aroma, but the chef probably calls it traditional fermentation. Then he adds flour and today's star ingredient, his sweet armpit essence. He raises his arm with great respect, letting that rainforest-level ecosystem sprinkle down naturally. Each curled body hair acts as a natural thickener. He scoops it by hand into rusty antique molds, adding a touch of historic flavor. To make the taste complete, he insists on working directly on the floor, letting dust drift in freely. Dust, with a chemical makeup more mysterious than the walls of a train station bathroom. He simply calls it a gift from the earth. He pours it by hand, of course. Human warmth. Finally, the cakes come out. The chef instantly drops them onto a table old enough to belong to a lost civilization. If you dare take a bite, prepare yourself. Your life may instantly reset to factory settings. Welcome to this Michelin-level dessert shop. Today's star, the microbial symphony cake. One bite, and by next year you'll be blowing out your first birthday candle again. First, the chef drizzles a special gloss over the cake base, borrowed straight from the auto shop next door. Then, he lifts the same hands, battered by street stalls, sun, rain, and a questionable list of bodily fluids, and starts smearing mousse with his bare palms. Next comes the frosting master. He wields an ancient spatula, old enough to belong in the British Museum, and forces the cream into a so-called Michelin-level finish, exactly as intended. Then comes the chocolate, a dark, sticky sludge scooped straight from a city sidewalk crack. Once it lands on the cake, the whole thing instantly becomes sewer core couture. Now for the mocha cream stage. After adding food coloring, the chef plunges his entire hand into the bowl, folding decades of skin flakes, microbes, and sweat straight into the recipe. Minutes later, the cream is officially human-infused. The flavor? A complex profile of hand notes and sweat undertones, his signature blend. Then comes the piping stage. Every swirl on that cake basically spells out, "Please don't eat me, I'm begging you." Take one bite and your health insurance will text you, "Good luck, man, you're on your own." Official notice: no bacteria were harmed in the making of this dessert. If anything, they've never been happier. Welcome to this legendary place, the Big Belly Bakery. This place follows one iron rule. Muffins must be made shirtless. Only then can the chef's sweat and arm hair fully seep into every batch of muffins, contributing precious fibers and keratin to the mix. The chef lifts his bare arm and starts his biological-grade flesh mixer. Sweat drops fall into the batter like precise seasoning, while giving his skin a bit of exfoliation. The measuring cup? A family heirloom. The last time it saw soap was probably the day dinosaurs watched the meteor. Then he dips a rag soaked in decades of grease and fate into old oil and smears the oil inside the cup, saying it adds charm. Then he takes this bowl of batter, mixed with dead skin cells and the entire microbe family, and pours it into the molds. Then pushes them into the eco-friendly charcoal oven, ash falling in. The chef says it's a natural functional particle and can even supplement minerals. When the oven starts, strands of intoxicating scent rush out. That isn't fragrance. That's carbon monoxide giving you hallucinations. When the muffins come out golden, the packaging process still follows the same shirtless standard. The chef calls it the final soul-merging ritual between man and pastry. They look warm and harmless, but danger sits inside. Take a bite. If you survive, impressive. If not, you died brave. This is why milk tea became a hit in America, but never caught on in India. Because in India, they already have their own version, the secret street milk tea. The vendor first pours milk into an old pot unwashed for decades. Its thick caramel layer gives off the fragrance of time. He then scoops in 2 big spoonfuls of secret powder and pours them in without hesitation. The mix melts instantly, turning the milk golden and rich. Next comes the key step. He crushes fresh ginger, throws it in, and the air fills with spicy sweetness. The tea begins to bubble. He stirs and scrapes the bottom, lifting that golden crust of flavor. The true soul of the brew. Then comes the tea waterfall. He raises the kettle high, pouring in long glowing arcs, foam swirling like a river of milk and steam. Finally, he grabs a worn cloth, squeezes out every drop of richness, and serves it in a small clay cup.
Good morning, sir. My stomach is full of cow dung and I need to poo.